Okay,
But,
so there we are. Yeah. I mean, we guys were having a nice conversation. Eric definitely was one of our TAs to help us with STA. It was fun. So
it was fun. Yeah, that was great.
In spring. All right, so welcome to our community open session for real time. We got Izzy, we got Eric today, and we might have another mentor show up, Rob potentially. We'll see if he. I haven't actually got confirmation yet that he's going to make it, so we'll see if he can make it or not. I haven't got solid plan of what we're going to cover today, so hopefully somebody has something interesting to talk about. But we can definitely find out what everyone around the table here is feeling lately. Izzy, did you want to do a little? Is there anything interesting going on in your world that you want to talk about right now? What are you working on?
I'm working on an environment project. I'm in the 3D modeling career track, in case didn't know, and it's nearing the finish line, which does mean that I'll be helping. I've been trying to implement things into Unreal as soon as possible, so that it's just like a matter of replacing things rather than needing to do it all at the last second. But yeah, it's going to be more implementation now. I mean, I can share what I have so far. I'll just need to load up Unreal real quick because I didn't do that yet.
It would be awesome if you could share some stuff. That would be great. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what you got there. We're definitely.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, there's a lot that isn't quite in there yet, but sure.
It's all right. Don't be shy. There's plenty I've brought to the table that's like just gray boxes. So
nice.
Yeah. Everything's allowed to be on the table here. It's like, if you're work in progress, that's totally fine. We're all just trying to make stuff work.
Yeah, I was playing with I was actually learning how to use Substance Designer the past week to try to make some materials for my scene. So that was fun. But I can show, where is it? Here. Yes. Okay. There will be some fun things coming when I start to make the smaller props for this scene, because there's a lot of like little jars and bottles and stuff. And I was thinking about making a shader that allows me to sort of control the liquid level so that I don't have to, let's say, model each, you know what I mean? Like that would be, so that's a topic potentially for discussion. I haven't done that yet, but
it's a pretty sophisticated thing to do. There's tutorials out there. We have a student, Mo, who went through the course, and he did do that as well. He got the water to flop around. He had a technique that he used to do it, but I think there's a few different approaches. So, but interesting.
Yeah, I've watched some tutorials in preparation, but I'm not really deep diving, just trying to wrap my head around the options and stuff. But okay, I got the scene loaded up.
Okay. Do you want me to stop sharing and you're going to take over?
Sure.
All right, let's do
it. Share window screen. It will allow me.
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will my browser allow me to show the thing?
Yeah. Okay. You see it?
Yeah. Good job. Got it working.
Nice. So yeah, there's a lot in here that is not done yet, but this is the material that I made in Substance Designer. And some of the assets are done and in here already.
Yeah.
But
it's got some nice character to it.
Yeah.
So
are you pulling from inspiration of a particular type, or where are you getting all these ideas?
Definitely. This is a concept by I forget his name. It's just a concept that I found on ArtStation, and then I'm pretty closely following that.
Good.
I can show that as well. I'll just need to stop sharing and share again to share that. No, not that one. I'll just share my entire screen for now, and then switch to this quickly. So here it is.
Okay. Oh yeah, there it is. Wow,
nice.
You got lots of character in there.
Yeah, there's a few things that I changed. So like the chimney is a bit more rounded and stuff. And instead of having this, because I felt like there's a lot of tables and stuff, instead of having this table on this corner, I made that little It's meant to be a like planter made of a dead tree and then just some like clay pots there. Like I don't know what to call this. Clay planter. Something like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's clay.
So yeah, the lighting is obviously not done at all. I just put like a point light in here for being able to see. Sometimes I also just hide that so I can see inside.
Oh yeah, that looks kind of cool actually.
Yeah.
Sunlight comes in.
But yeah. So yeah, that's what it looks like right now.
Nice.
Yeah. I have my own master materials that I made on a previous project that I've been using. It's just a big material. Yeah, just the textures and then some controls so I can, you know, change them up on each material instance, maybe, you know, desaturate things or make them brighter, etc. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I made.
Yeah.
Oh,
that looks good. Sorry.
Do you want me to go back?
Yeah, I'm making some fixes to my screen here. I missed what you were going to show me there.
Oh no.
Okay, go ahead. So you have so what was the material for again?
This is just a basic material for just things that don't need anything special. So it's just base color, emissive, ORM, and normal.
Okay. And you're making
and I have.
Of it? Is that what you? Is that what you're planning?
Yes. I already have a few instances for different things, like the axe, for example.
Oh, nice.
With the test for the axe, you know. And then there's these settings to tweak things if I need to.
Are you separating it by like transparency and non-transparency master materials, or is there a particular strategy?
Yeah, I mean, for most things, I think it's just going to be the basic material because in this scene, there's not a whole lot going on in the sense that there's not like a lot of very complicated. There probably will be a translucency material for like the maybe it will also be like the liquid shader that we discussed. But anyway, so there'll probably be one for like the translucent materials, and then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do because in here they're gonna be in the concept you can see it's like a chimney with, I'm not sure if it's like coals or this kind of looks like lava a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's, so I'm not sure if that will require its own master material.
For emissive.
But yeah. And then I have this other, these are just from other projects that I took over in case I needed them, but I haven't used them yet. And then there's just this one for the tilables, which the only difference is really that I'm using this function to control the tiling and all that. There's not really a whole lot of need for lots of different master materials in this scene.
No, and it's fine that you're not like it's interesting that you're trying to think about it, not necessarily pivotal that you are or you aren't, but you know, I appreciate that you're thinking about it and that you're addressing it. The idea of doing the tiling material, was there like a lot of what are they, scalar parameters or whatever, the single values? Is that how you're controlling the repeating pattern in that? Was that what that function was going into?
So it has like U tiling, V tiling, offset on both, and rotation. That's pretty much all it has.
Okay.
So then,
and what's in the material function? Did you make that, or is that?
I did. I just followed a tutorial though for all of these really. I don't know what has this glowing orb of light, but
oh, nice.
Yeah, just texture coordinates, and then this. Yeah, this, I think this was, if I understood correctly, so that, gosh, it was something like so that it only rotates. It doesn't have any negative rotation or any. I'm not sure, to be honest. I just followed the tutorial, but I just have this, and then the UNV tiling, all that, and then that all just goes in there.
What's funny is that if you actually wrote all that yourself, and then I asked about it a year later, you'd be like, I don't remember what I was doing here. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter if you still don't know. You're like, I don't know. I solved it and then I forgot about it. So
Yeah,
totally fine.
basically, like, I understood it when I was watching the tutorial, and then now I'm like, what was it? But I'm sure there's a reason for it. But yeah, so then now I like this because now that I made this, I'll be able to use it for things, which is good, as well as the tiling material. Yeah, because these are previous projects, and then this is new stuff for this project.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
You planning?
I don't know if you need comments or suggestions. I come in here with a specific goal, like asking anything about it, but you're an expert.
Right.
If there's anything sticking out to you, they're like, ooh, what's that?
Your poor internet connection is dying trying to communicate that to us. But so I as much as I want to like ask more questions, but then I feel like if I do that, you're gonna be like, well, let me show you, and then like, I'm like, oh no. But
okay, maybe
really
I think I can switch to a better. There's a better, potentially better Wi-Fi. So hold on, I'm gonna switch to.
Yeah,
we'll hijack the neighbors.
Back.
Yeah.
If you can, yeah. Oh, are you gonna be able to do this without leaving the meeting? Oh, that was impressive. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah,
that's gonna be possible.
Is that a little bit better?
Mm-hmm. So far, yeah.
We'll see. But yeah.
Okay. So I think technically, I don't know, Eric, did you have a question first before we get a little deeper?
I was just wondering if you were, is this all preparation for the rookies? I was wondering if this was going to be a rookies project for you.
Well, everything is a rookies project if it's good enough. So hopefully, yeah.
Fair enough.
I think the answer was
I want to put it in there.
That's good. That's good. I think that's great. I in the last half of my career track for game design, I built a rookies project, albeit not that great, but it was like I was able to submit it, and it turned out to be, it's just a really good experience, and you get to grade and feedback, so it's really good. I'd like to do it again sometime. So I think it's great that you're doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I did it last year. I did not get a very good grade, so I'm hoping to improve on that this year.
Right. That's the point, is that like you get graded. Like it's not like you're not your own judge, so it's really good. And I think your layout compared to your template, what you're going off of, I like the planner idea, especially for a gameplay perspective. Like if I was going to use this asset for gameplay, now there's elbow room for a character to move around. I don't know if you're planning on doing that, but I like that twist, and the planner fits. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I would like to. That's one thing I actually am not sure how to do, but I'm sure that it's really easy, but I would like to have a character walking around in there. So far, if I try to do like right click and play from here, it's just like a floating camera and also because of the it's the lighting is obviously
Yep, it's okay. I understand.
I think it's because of the this thing is not.
That's not gonna. Yeah, your exposure on your. Do you have a post-process volume? Because you could correct it.
I do.
If you do, then
I do have one.
Just jump over to it. We can make a quick fix.
Yes. Yeah. So I had it. Yeah.
Exposure compensation is at 20, so that's probably why it's super bright. If you put it to 0, it would probably look less bright.
Okay. Let's see.
If you play. All right, so you're in manual exposure mode, so it's going to be really black. So I guess you're at 20 for a reason. Maybe try 15. I don't know. If you turn on, what was that little checkbox you had? Game settings. Turn that back on again, and then play with that slider that you had, and you'll get the right exposure here.
Yeah, let's try that. I'm still trying to figure out the lighting stuff in Unreal, because with the game sometimes it can, because like at least previously, it's not really doing so much now, but previously it was like just washing everything out, and then if you put more parts in, it brings it back down, or put them away, it brings it up. So I know that's the point, because it's supposed to make it so that a player goes into a dark area they can still see, but doesn't give a whole artistic control. So I was trying to figure out how to say for. But yeah, so I'm a floating cab rather than a player.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever want, you can have multiple post-process volumes too. Like if the player moves into an area that you specifically want specific lighting, like you can use 2 to control it. Okay. I know there's actually parts in like I was just playing Resident Evil 4, the remake, the other day, and there's parts where like you can tell that they have 2 post-process volumes, like if you go into a cave versus like outside. Because all the lighting, all the exposure just changes on a curve.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, that's interesting, because so like in this context, if you have interior lighting, you're going to have a much brighter exposure because you're compensating for the dark room, or darker. I don't know. And so you can have a collision or a post-process volume inside your building that when you walk into the cube or the volume, it's going to adjust your exposure so that it's for interior lighting, and then when you come out, it adjusts it for exterior lighting, and then you can adjust the threshold of how much transition you're going to go from one volume to the other volume, and so that it blends nicely between the two. That's one way. I mean, there's probably a bunch of other ways, but I think, in this case, you're going to want the windows to have this blast of light come in, right? They're going to be like this super white light. So you do want to make sure your exposure is dark for an interior, and then have regular sunlight outside that kind of blasts in, that's way overexposed. And I think that will create a nice effect.
Yeah.
It's either that or use make your own custom windows and fake the lighting.
You could make
that is an option as well.
Make your own god rays.
I'll have to think of that, because there's 2 areas where the light will be coming in. I mean, there's something I added that wasn't in the concept, because I thought it would make it look a little bit more working with potentially adding some god rays that are coming in like this and illuminating more. But yeah, I was thinking, because if I go the route of the sunlight from the side, unless it's extremely bright, it will mean that I'll have to be able to see something from the outside, to build something to see from the window.
Right. Yeah, you don't really want that problem.
Yeah.
Eric was going to argue that, but
I mean, you could always like use a camera and capture what's on the outside and put that into the material too, but that's kind of crazy complicated and might not be worth it at all, but it's possible. Like if there was like live action happening outside of it, like you can capture that all. Like it's a fake window, sort of, like you can control, because now that it's the camera's streaming into a material, you have like control over what that camera is seeing, sort of, because the camera has almost its own post-process settings to it.
But if you can see the exposure outside and inside at the same time, it creates an uncanniness, because it's the fact that it feels like a fake set, where you're like, well, why is it that we can see outside so clearly? Like, and those are the kind of things that, that having that overexposure just makes it feel a little more real, a little more substantial. And you can still have maybe a blend of both, or it could be nighttime or whatever. You could have that problem too. But, you can easily, if you're just looking out a window, you can easily create some sets like what Eric's talking about and build some sort of attempt of outdoor stuff. But if it's sunny and it's daytime, then just blast that light in there. I think it saves you the trouble of having to worry about what's out there. And if you use some volumetric fog inside the building, you're going to be able to get those natural sort of God ray effects coming through the light shaft. So I don't see that being too hard to accomplish.
yeah, hope
And
I
luckily you don't have to
struggled
worry
with
about
it before.
Oh yeah. Luckily you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
the exterior and the interior, because that's usually the hardest
yeah,
part, because then you've got two different, like, even the, it might be foggy or smoky inside the building, but then you have to be like, okay, but it's not smoky outside the building, so you have to control where the smokiness is. And they did just add some features for that to be able to control where the volumetric fog is, but sometimes that can be really tricky. But in your case, you're
yeah.
just like, well, whatever, just the whole world is a little foggy and we don't care about what's going on outside of it.
Basically, I'm just the project is the interior, so the exterior can
Yeah, right.
can
Be not an issue.
get some less
Like
attention.
on a real live action set, nobody cares about what's outside. It's not on camera. Don't worry about it. Yeah,
Exactly.
It looks pretty good. I like that you've got lots of things going on in there, and obviously it's still a work in progress. So lots of potential there for where it's going to go. Some of those maybe slightly more complicated materials, like the glow effect and everything, should potentially be pretty straightforward to get through, depending on the details and the quality you're going for. I don't know. The lighting is going to be an important component. In fact, I wonder if the lighting of the concept art isn't quite as interesting as what you can make it. You could probably build more shadows and more dynamic lights.
Yeah.
And really focus on how the fire is creating a light source and where it's going and stuff. So I think there's room to expand creatively with your own art direction.
Yeah, it'll take some time, but I think it's worth the time spent to really get that right.
Yeah. And if you're trying to aim for rookies, then you've got till June. So I think you've got time, as long as you don't pile too much else on your plate in the same place. Yeah. That was a laugh.
I don't totally also have a Game of the Year rookies group going and a billion other things at this time. Not me.
Yeah, that means you're piling your plate up high.
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate that you shared that with us. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the tips.
Yeah, well, that's what I try to do. And Eric's been pretty good about being there to help out as well, especially since he's got a slightly different perspective sometimes on how to solve problems.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I have opinions. So I like to share them, and then I can kind of be directed, if I was working on a project similar to that, I can say, oh, this is what I would do. And then Simon would be like, no, you don't want to do that. So it's nice to get professional feedback in real time when you're thinking about it, trying to design it in your head. Yeah.
Yeah, that comes up a lot. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Is there any other topics that anybody wanted to address before I start pushing a narrative?
Oh, I just had one quick question.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I was just curious about the upcoming UnrealFest. I know you got cut off a little bit last time before talking about it, and I was since it's right here in Chicago, I'm interested about it, but I'm curious about have you ever been to one? What can you expect? What I was trying to do some research on these things. Yeah, so
a little bit of backstory from last week. I had a power failure, killed the stream. It was about 20 minutes in, and the power failure never came back. But I have these battery backups, so Eric and I were still able to close the conversation down offline. But the stream itself was toast because the computer that pushes the stream is not on a battery backup that lasts, apparently. So anyway, there's a couple points I wanted to talk about in that session, but we never got to it because obviously the session ended quickly. And one of them is that I bought a ticket to go to the UnrealFest in Chicago in June 18th. And that was, UnrealFest has been happening for quite a couple of few years maybe. And everybody's like, are you going? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to go across the country to try and get to these UnrealFests. They're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And then this time, even now, it was UnrealFest is in Chicago, which is only 6 hours from where I live. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know. And I still on the fence thinking about it. And then I found out a whole bunch of people are going. That Efron's going, Tayo's going. We got Anthony. He's one of our things going. so there's so much potential to meet up with people that I've never really actually seen them in real life, just digitally, and I'm like, all right, I gotta take advantage of this. I'll regret it if I don't do it. So there was early bird tickets that happened in January, February. That was $550 for a ticket. So that's the kind of price tag. And then after that, it was 650, and then apparently the tickets will be 750. So they're very
Oh
expensive
Lord.
to go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is one of the discouraging elements. Although I guess that limits the amount of people that go. But it's actually an interesting year to do it because of the fact that the GDC is such a different GDC this year. I went to the GDC in 2005 to experience. I just got out of college. It was before I had my first job in the industry, and I needed to make some contacts and wanted to see, go to these events and push myself to do something that normally I'd find pretty uncomfortable. And it was very interesting, very eye-opening, very I don't know, just quite an amazing experience. But did it land me any jobs? No. Did I make any contacts? Not really. But but just the things that the perspective I gained, the things I learned there, the different events, just the understanding the profile of like where people are at and how, because people from all different departments and perspectives and why they're there, what they're trying to solve. That was what was most valuable, I found. The conversations I had the value, not so much anything that happened after it. And I really enjoyed it. And then I had a job. I got my first industry job afterwards, and I never went back because none of the companies I ever worked for ever wanted to cover the fee to send anybody to the GDC. So even though they asked for it regularly, they'd be like, "Can we do the GDC this year?" No, we can't do it. So this year, even CG Spectrum is not paying me to go to this thing, but I made it on my own decision. I'm like, I got to do this. This is going to be one of those moments where you got to take it when it comes, and so I bought the ticket, and then Jeremy also. I told Jeremy I was going to go, and he's like, "Oh yeah." Jeremy lives in Minnesota, so he's about 6 hours away as well.
Huh.
And then so he's like, all right, so he bought a ticket, so he's gonna go, and that's kind of cool. I normally I could be like, I've never met anybody at CG Spec, but Jeremy I have actually met. We met in New York when I had to do a training session with Epic in New York City, so he came there as well. So I actually met Jeremy, but a lot of the people at CG Spectrum I've never really met face to face before. So that's kind of an interesting opportunity, and in Chicago, I've never been to Chicago. It's only 6 hours away, and I've never been. So there's an opportunity for me to explore a city I've never seen. And at the moment, we bought the hotel, and I bought enough room we got 2 kids and my wife. So the plan is we're going to drive there, and they're going to go explore the city. We're going to make it into a full trip. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's the current plan. And it doesn't really change the cost that much because it's like, it's the hotel's the hotel, and then just driving. I got to drive there anyways. So that's June 18th. I think it's for 3 days. I don't know, 17th, 18th, 19th, or something like that.
16, 17, 18.
Oh, okay, 16, 17, 18. And so that's like in the middle of the week. And I don't know. Where are you, Eric? Are you in Chicago? Or are you close to Chicago?
I am an hour outside of Chicago in a town called Aurora. So I am super considering. I mean, the price tag is the deterrent, but like I'm the contacts, the experience. That's why I was curious about it, because it's just like it really could be just a fun experience. On top of that, could be an opportunity. So it's one of those that like I want to go, and it's just up the street from like the aquarium and Soldier Field. So I've been there a few times, so I know where it's at downtown. It's like right next to the lake. So there's a lot of cool things. Like, I've taken my wife and my daughter to the aquarium there, and the field museum there. They're all right. They're just a couple blocks away actually from where they're hosting it. So it's actually like pretty cool. So But yeah, I'm interested in going, and I think, I mean, with everybody going at CG Spectrum, it's just like I think I might get the ticket then, because it'll be really cool.
Totally, I agree, and I've never been to an UnrealFest, so I don't know if it's a lot different, but my experience at GDC is a lot of the socializing happens in the after parties after the events anyways. So, I mean, in theory, even if you just show up for an evening, I'm sure you're like, tag along, we're going to go over here, we're going to do this. There's all kinds of interesting ideas that, and I mean, to be fair, if you're going to be there and I'm there, we're going to be like, well, if there's nothing happening, then let's go here and we'll meet up at least. Like, we're going to do something. I'm not going to let that one pass.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
this conference called IAMAG in Paris last year, around about this time actually. And it's like you said, like the after parties are so like people really like it's like, you're just relaxing and none of this. I mean, the talks themselves were also super interesting and cool. And like the whole experience, it was my first conference that I've been to, and the price tag is kind of, can be an issue. But in the end, I found it like super worthwhile, because even if like I did make a few contacts and stuff, but more than that, like I made a friend. She then came to visit me here, like from where, and like the whole experience was so motivating, especially because I went like quite early on in my, to learning this and being in this career path. And it was just so cool seeing people that were much more experienced than me and getting advice from them and seeing their perspectives on the industry and on different things. And just, it was just so cool. I don't know. I found it very inspiring to just be there.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you're getting the right tone there. It was exciting. That's for sure. I mean, undeniably exciting.
Yeah.
And to hang around with so many people with like-minded interests and desires, you're like, yeah, this is great. I feel like I'm in the right crowd, and lots of learning.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
and
plenty of learning.
To the point of meeting people from CG Spectrum, the only reason is because Francois from Concept Art, I don't know if you know him, posted that he was going and was asking if anyone else is going. And I was like, I didn't even know what the conference was, but I looked it up and I was like, sounds interesting. You know what? I'll go and I'll meet you there. So we ended up meeting each other there. So that was fun.
There you go. That is a good encouragement, eh? It's contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, it is quite nice to have somebody that you can at least connect with when you're there. When I went to GDC, I knew nobody. It was just like, okay, hey, and it still worked. It didn't even matter. I still was able to like figure it out. But it did make it. I don't know. It depends on, I guess, the type of person you are. But for me, it's exhausting. I don't know. Being social is exhausting, and doing it all day long can really wear you out. But even so, you feel like very fulfilled. You're really doing a lot of things, talking to a lot of people, a lot of learning. So it was definitely worth the money and the investment. But once I was working in the industry, I kind of just was like, well, shouldn't you pay me to go there now? Nobody did it. So like,
yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah. Some studios do. It's definitely not. I mean, that's most of the people there are people that got their studios, but usually they live closer. It's usually the flight getting all the way over there. That's the tricky part. It's quite a job. The only other convention center I went to was PAX in Australia, and that was 2015. So funny enough, I went to a convention in 2005, 2015, and it could have been 2025, but no, apparently it's 2026. So it's just one year.
1 year
the
off.
increment will keep increasing.
Yeah. Yeah. What will happen in 2036? That's the real question. So the one in PAX was for CG Spectrum. I was there. They actually did pay me to go up there to promote CG Spectrum. That was our first year where we were associated with a college, school, university in Australia, and that was our big opening thing. And it was very interesting. That's where I met a few other people like Brandon and various people from CG Spectrum were all there, and it was great, lots of fun. So they're always good experiences, just a bit expensive, that's all. So there we go. It's great that we all had a little bit of something to share on that one. The other thing I had to talk about, which I never got to really explain while we were there, well, it was actually the rookies competition ramp up, which we've already kind of talked a little bit about that, but let's cover it a little more. Rookies don't start until April, technically, so it hasn't even officially started. There's not even a website to really kind of point you to, but they go for until closer to the end of June, where you have to submit, and the idea is that you're putting in your portfolio work. It doesn't have to follow a specific theme. The deal with rookies is that you have to, the rules is that you're supposed to be a student. If you have more than a year of industry experience in that related topic, then you don't really qualify. You can't enter the competition. So it's intended to make it so that you feel like you're a realistic candidate to compete within. And obviously it helps promote exposure and benefits you as a student. And interesting how Izzy was talking about how their last experience produced a grade that you weren't happy with. So it gives you an opportunity to kind of improve on it. And you're like, okay, that's my benchmark. I'm going to see it, improve myself and see if I can get better than that. And you still get something out of it, as opposed to just like, no, you didn't win. You can actually get some sort of feedback, and that's more valuable. So it is very much aesthetic based competition. I was hoping that there was going to be a little more like appreciation for the technical skill, but it does seem very much it's on the aesthetic side, and I think we just have to acknowledge that the categories are based on what's your sort of industry output rather than what's your skill set. So game development encapsulates a whole bunch of stuff. So modelers will enter there, animators will enter there, game designers will enter there, students for taking real-time enter there. We're all in the same bucket, and it's tricky to kind of say you are better than that person because our skills are being contributed in different ways. And that's what makes it difficult. I was really trying to help last year in our open sessions. One of the students that who was taking the game programming and created a game, and I was really like, let's do it like a marketing campaign, and we're gonna like promote your stuff and make it look visually appealing, and it's gonna be like, let's address it as if you're trying to speak to an audience, right? Like that was the intention. And he came back and he got a C, and he put tons of work into it. He was really focused on like trying to upsell it, present it and everything, but in the end of the day it didn't have the aesthetic appeal. It was just more of a technical, it wasn't even a technical, but it was like just it didn't hit the check marks people were looking for. So it's something to be aware of, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't submit. It still has the value of gaining that recognition and being able to improve yourself. We're gonna have Nicklas hopefully come in April. That he's gonna be able to help talk to us about a bit more about the details. That was great. Thank you, Epic. And then he's the one that kind of oversees the rookies competition for us, and he's the one who is helping anybody who needs assistance trying to get submitted. When you submit one for these rookies, you're really basically trying to block out the construction process you did, and they want to see like what you've learned and what you tried and what didn't work and what worked, rather than just the final image. And I think that's true not only for rookies, but anything that you try to submit in a portfolio across for any type of job. You really need to bring something else to the portfolio that you have besides the final image. You have to show the process and the workflows and your thought process, because that exposes more about how useful you would be as an employee anyways. So yeah, we're gonna do that, I guess, in a few weeks, and have him come in here and answer some more questions as we start to kick it off and get people in. We've created a list of people that we want to add to it, that we want to keep our eye on, I suppose is more what it is, students. So if anybody is interested in entering the rookies, make sure you mention it to either Nicklas or to your department head or your mentor, and so that we know that you're in there. We need at least, like, from a school's perspective, it benefits us because it creates it recognizes the school that is, providing the quality education to be able to have these categories in their school. But you need to have at least 12 students entered in order for you to qualify as an official school. So we are always struggling with that because at the mercy of whatever the students feel like doing. And sometimes we have departments that have more students, sometimes we have less. And again, the categories are based on the output. So game development is an entire category. So there's a lot of mix between different departments that are all contributing the same thing. But then you'll have animation, which is a category, which is kind of like film, animated film. So people will contribute in that. And then we have like 2D as a category. So then everybody has to. So what we're trying to do with this list of people's names is make sure we understand where exactly we are, make sure we're going to hit the numbers we need to be able to qualify as in the category, and then make sure that we push to make sure everybody submits. So, and we're here to help.
We contact in order to tell them that we're going to participate.
See, it's department head, which may not be helpful to you. Which would be.
I think I know my department head.
You're in modeling, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so Hassan, right?
Yeah, that's right. You let him know; he'll put it in for you. That one I know. I can answer that one for sure. When it comes to like a mentor for a department, I'm like, well, then they have to tell the department head that they may not realize the workflow. So let's make sure we don't miss that gap and we go straight to the source. It's either that or you just talk to Nicklas himself and he'll help you through. But yeah, I would. Okay. Yeah, if you haven't done it already, then make sure you put your name up there, and they'll be happy to see you on there.
Will do.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there any other questions about rookies that anybody wants to ask while they're here? Something I wanted to talk about for a while, but obviously it's not quite started yet, so it's a little early.
The early's better. I mean, the last time I had Scott Bayless, who at the time was head of the game design department. So it was easy for me to, because it was all of our sessions, we would talk about the rookies for like 6 months leading up to it. I took the game design course and knew absolutely nothing about Unreal. So I was for 6 months crunching on it before. So early, I mean, you could kind of say this is early, but for me, like that's 3 months ahead is not that early. So,
I mean, some people start working on their like projects, like with game of the year, film of the year, even their own stuff, like as soon as the rookies is done for the next year.
Yeah.
I was going to add to that too. It's like, because it's just portfolio work, there really isn't any start limitation. It just has to be made within the year since the previous competition. So yeah, it's totally fine if you finish something in August or September, that still qualifies. Yeah. You can still enter that as well.
Is that a hard and fast rule for people who haven't participated before, though? Because I imagine if you haven't participated before and you have work that's a little older than a year, would you still be able to include that?
I don't think anybody can confirm or deny that you did or didn't do it by a certain time frame. So as long as if you submitted it already in the rookies competition, that would be bad. But I think there's a lot of leniency here. And I think there's a lot of challenge they have to be able to confirm anything, really. We did have a couple people that we know that were disqualified last year because they had too much industry experience. So, that can be a factor. And it's a little tricky to figure out where the line is drawn in the sand because, a lot of people are sometimes pivot their career paths, right? So they might be doing one type of career and then they decided to go to CG Spectrum to learn a different aspect of it. And that seems like a different thing, but in the one case, it was still enough to disqualify them, so they didn't be able to enter.
That's a shame.
You're saying that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I was. You're saying that like you don't have to be a student, right? Because I'm no longer a student at CG Spectrum. I'm just the fly on the wall hanging around.
Right. No, you can enter it independently if you want. and there's just an option in there that says, what school do you want to represent yourself as?
Oh, okay.
As long as you don't have more than 1 year of industry experience.
Right.
I don't think they mind whether you're currently studying or not.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you wouldn't be the first person that did that. I know Marcus also represented CG Spectrum, and he'd been mentored with Carl Shed, but it was like he also had work he was doing with other schools and all kinds of mix-ups, not mix-ups, but mixings. And yeah, he still represented as CG Spectrum, which was cool, and ended up doing really well.
Oh, that's good.
I'm surprised with the person you mentioned getting disqualified, because I was reading into the eligibility requirements at some point, and I did notice that they said 1 year of industry experience, or in certain cases, 3 years in a related field is also okay. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's something I saw. I don't know. It was
something about architecture, being an architect versus architectural visualization was too close. Something like that.
Huh.
I see.
Interesting.
And I may have that story wrong, but that was kind of like the idea of how it was a branch, but it wasn't enough of a branch. And we've had people who've gone from one type of thing to another like that, and it's been tricky to tell where exactly. Obviously they entered thinking that, well, I should be okay, but the judges decided that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I also know there's been some people who had problems when they've been doing volunteer work that they put on their LinkedIn, but then they don't list it as like you're a part of some indie project thing, but then it's not paid. So then is it professional experience or what?
That's an interesting point. Yeah. Where is that line crossed? I mean, if you're not getting paid, it shouldn't qualify, but how do you know when it shows up on your resume?
I think this, because I heard this, I then put on my thing that I have on my LinkedIn, I made sure to put, okay, it's volunteer. Yeah.
Right. There's pros and cons there, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard that one, but I do see what you're saying. And I guess, and that parlays nicely into the topic of there's game of the year and film of the year, where you can do group project work and team up with other people to create a product, which is a little more tricky, a little more complicated, but I know there's some support with Jessica and Penny to help coordinate that, make sure that those teams work well together. I know it worked really good for the game jams. As an example, we felt that was pretty successful for how well that could have went. Izzy, you said you're on one of these teams?
Yeah, I participated in the game jam, and then
that too.
Yeah, and then the team that I was assigned, we then, after the game jam, and we got feedback from I'm trying to remember. I always forget if it's Jason or Justin.
Jason.
I think Jason. Yeah.
Yep.
Jason.
It's funny that you have that problem, because I also have that problem, but like I'm trying to act like I don't, but no, I also for some reason can't get Jason in my head.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, and then after that we were told oh, it would be cool if you would take this project to the rookies. So then we discussed it as a group. We ended up deciding to do an entirely new idea instead of continuing the old project. I think I would have preferred to continue the old project, but I also really like the new idea, so happy days. Yeah, so it's very early in development, but we're getting we have a pretty solid idea of the story and the sort of the scope of the project. We're trying to keep it small because it's only a few months. Yeah,
that's the key right there. And it seems like you got the art base, so you're going to be able to have good quality polish. And I mean, that is the weird thing about rookies and doing the games, is that they're not really you can't play them. There's no go to this website to play it. It's just, here's a video of us playing the game, which is kind of a cinematic at that point. And you're
yeah,
is it a game or is it just
we're trying
simulator?
We're trying to actually put together a game. Maybe, I don't know if other entries have done this before. The winning entries that we saw didn't seem like this. It seemed like what you're seeing, which is it's still nice. It looks great, but yeah, we wanted to make something playable, even if it's small. So we've got a programmer on the team. We've got game designer. And then we actually also reached out to get more people for certain areas that we felt we were missing after during the game jam. Like we had no animators, so that was pretty rough. I mean, we had one
man.
Some
Come on, we have so many animators around. How can we not do that?
No, it was okay. I mean, one of the guys did some animation. But yeah, so yeah.
Good. Well, yeah, I think that's great, and I think you should do it more. Focus more on creating a quality game, and not so much worry about, how is this going to work in rookies? Because the value of having a real game is going to be much more important to everyone on the team instead of just the modeling artist, which would be like, because they're just going to be like, oh, look at my beautiful asset. Oh yeah, it looks so good on rookies. But like everyone else wants some sort of like, oh, look, we can make a game. We have all the elements. We have all the interesting pieces. And who knows? Maybe it might even spin off into some bigger thing that you guys can do that will lead to something successful. So that would be the ideal dream for sure.
You never know.
Yeah, well, you got to try. So you don't win for not trying. You can't. That wasn't the same, but you know what I mean. You gotta swing the bat or something. I'm sure there's some good ones. Does anybody else have any thoughts about rookies before? The only last thing I had was talking about Pre-Vis. I wanted to show the K-pop Pre-Vis stuff because it helps justify the real-time department. But
I would love to see that. I saw that on the channel, but I haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah. Okay. And what's interesting is they kind of promoted two things all at once there in the same week. So let me jump up to the link here. Okay, so this just came out. Well, I guess it's February 27th now. It's been a couple weeks now, but they utilized Unreal to do the Pre-Vis, and which is something that we already put in our course content for the real-time pathway, particularly in the specialization group. And it's something that I'm working actively with students in the accredited space, we're focused on doing the elements of Pre-Vis and focusing on the importance of what Unreal really is good at, and really focusing on that. How do I explain it? Like, making sure that the visualization, the storytelling, the pacing, those are the key aspects that we're working on. And what they did in this particular sequence here is they animated it in Maya. Like the animators did the whole scene in Maya, but beforehand they just built all the sets and the shots and put it together in Unreal. And they did it so quick and were able to really build the visualization that it helped explain what the animators needed to do. It helped explain the pacing, sold the idea. And that's the key of what the mindset of what we want to do when we're building scenes. So this was awesome that it was, the most popular movie of the year happened to also have like Unreal as the source of how it could do some of its scenes, and it was integrated into their pipeline. So it really helps justify, because the biggest problem I have trying to sell the real-time course is that there's very little examples of everyone's like, I want to make awesome stuff. I want to make awesome film stuff. Well, there's years and decades of experience where you go through the Maya pipeline, you go through the traditional stuff, but there's very little evidence right now of how this is actually a really good way to accomplish what is used to traditionally very, very hard and slow to do. And it's definitely not, it's not that the skill of storytelling and storyboarding is still really hard to do, and it requires tons of experience. It's just that you can do it so more creatively and freely that everyone really appreciates that that's available to you. But you can even tell in this scene, even though it's simplified, and I also really appreciate that using blocked keys here, because this is something I was trying to make a point about in my course content as well, is blocked key, clamped key posing is a much easier to sell idea than trying to do slow tweens. Everything was so floaty. So the whole concept of K-pop is it's already stop motion a little bit, but the fact that they did it in the Pre-Vis is a great little example of how to cover it. But what I wanted to say was all the VFX that are going on here. We've got fancy smokes, fancy explosion of characters, fancy, like there's a lot of technical skills. You got to be a generalist. You got to kind of know all the different elements and all the different pieces of the puzzle to be able to make that shot sort of sell what you're trying to say and do it in a quick way. So even though it's fast and easy to get the thing, you still need to have a lot of different, a lot of width of knowledge. And that, again, is something that the real time sort of encompasses. We go through all the different VFX and all the art side of game development and all the tools that are required to get to that point. So it's exactly what what we'd like to be able to see going on in the industry. And then they animated it and they did it in the traditional pipeline for the final piece. So it wasn't made in Unreal. It was just a Pre-Vis. But what's really cool and what's exciting right now is the fact that all these tools for animation are being built and set up so that you can do the animation in Unreal and you can finish this in the scene. And then it's just a matter of like getting the render out, which is, obviously it's rendering in real time, but where are the challenges of getting those final pixels to be in a controlled state for compositing and the other elements? That's, I think, the area that's still not fully finished yet. But the fact that you can animate, I would argue the tools to animate in Unreal are actually better now than in Maya. And the amount of access to features and functionality is just more strong. Like, it's so powerful, but it's so new as well. The changes they did in 5.6 have made such a significant adjustment to things that were struggle points that it's just on the cusp of doing something cool. And if you can get ahead of the curve and learn it and know it, you have opportunities not only in game development but also in these other more traditional film-based pipelines. And I even with a discussion of AI and all this other stuff, I still think this is where you get full art direction, you get full control of your scene and shots. You're thinking about it constructively. It amplifies all the arguments about how good filmmaking needs to take place through lots of skill. So anyway, it's cool that they had it. I was just kind of excited because I just happened to be dealing with the same thing with one of my students who's taking the accredited pathway. And we're like, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is what I'm talking about. It just came out. The other post was, as I know we're getting to the end of the meeting here, was a different, same concept. This is actually a Pre-Vis for a film, a live action film. And again, they're doing, this is like posted like in the same week. They're
so fast, all of that.
The sets, not only for the composition, but also for where the green screens go and where the crayons go. So like also where the live set would be. So you're getting to see a bunch of different information about how that's going to work before ever you have all these actors on the set. And the actual building looks like it's a photogrammetry-based structure. So they were able to get a one-to-one positional spacing of where the people will fit inside that environment and how this camera is going to be positioned in world space so that that you can mimic the same type of shots. So lots of practical use cases there as well. And this is, for a live action film pipeline. So those are, I don't know. Nobody ever talks about this stuff. I just wanted to highlight it because I was like, this is great. They're all showing all these things. This is like exactly what we've been trying to push towards. And the importance of having experience and knowledge of how to deal with characters, deal with the lights, deal with photogrammetry, deal with texturing, getting the cinematography right, the sets, the great lenses, the right, exposure are all factors that have to come into play, and you have to know where to find those settings and work with them inside of Unreal. So yeah, there it is. I got to do my spiel. Anybody have any, we want to disagree with me? Say no, you're totally wrong.
That would be a big mistake because I took real-time foundations, but it's a big world that I know very, very, very little about. So even though I do think when Dune came out, I think they used Unreal to for kind of what they're doing for this movie here. At least I remember reading something about that. So it's out there. They're doing it.
Right. setting up the shots.
Yeah, I think look is
Sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say about the K-pop Demon Hunters stuff, that even in the sort of Unreal Pre-Vis level, like it looks already so good. Like they're putting in the effort to put those like VFX and all that stuff, and like I guess it really translates to the final piece, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to sort of say, oh, it'll look better once you get the VFX in there. Like it's the actual impression in a state before it's ready. And being able to, the speed that you can do it as an artist and a filmmaker is the key component of the whole thing. I mean, what other medium can you create ideas and do it in a way that exactly like the vision that you're going for? And that's what the interviews they have with the people, they're like, oh, it was so much fun. It was so good. We got all this stuff done. And those are the truth that we've already knew in game development. We know that you can, work with these live action assets and it works really well. The struggle points was more getting the animation tools down and getting the cinematic pipelines down. And that's, but, for the last many years, we've been honing in on that pipeline. And the last couple years, the animation pipeline has had so much focus and so much attention about polishing it, making it work. And it's been bumpy. There's some rough edges that we've been going through, especially when you're dealing with constraints and various other tasks, retargeting and things like that. But even just like the session I had yesterday with one of my students, and we were focusing on animating a piece that it was part of the course curriculum, and I'm cleaning up mocap essentially, but it was just basically baked animation. And a couple of the hangups that I've been dealing with just last year or a couple of years ago when I was doing animations, they're fixed. Like you could do the layers are making it so much easier. Doing constraints, you delete the constraint, gets rid of the double keys, put it again. Like there's all these little tweaks they've done that make it so that, wow, this is like, okay, no longer so painful. I can actually, get things done and do it right and move along. And to me, to imagine trying to do that same thing in Maya is like, oh, wow, that's so archaically old. Like it's such a hard way to do it. And so once you kind of see it and you understand it, you realize how you wouldn't want to go back. It's really the better place to be. So that's what I'm going to try to keep saying to people and, try to share that. But until you experience it or really see the struggle, it's hard to understand the benefits. Okay, are we all good? Anybody else have anything else they want to chat about before we wrap up? We're good? I appreciate that you guys came today. It's great. Yeah, no, I really, you brought lots of good stuff to our conversations here. I did have a thought that maybe Rob was going to come. He's one of our programming mentors. He was going to come and chat about his understanding, a little bit of contrast comparison with virtual production and things that he's experienced. But he, maybe we can hook him in next week or something like that. It'd be nice to get someone else to come in from one of the other departments in CG Spectrum and share some thoughts and knowledge with everybody so that we get some new experiences. Okay, well, I'll leave it there. Thanks, everybody. And we'll hopefully see you all next week.
Sweet. Great to meet you.
Thank
Great
you.
to meet you, Izzy.
Yeah, you as well.
Yep.
All right. See you around.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.